contribution. So I just want to like say one or two things to add it to or add it up to what they have said already. I just highlighted few things here, like number one, why do people, rush into tech? Why people want to be tech bros and tech sis? One of the major points I highlighted here is, the high demand. I think some of them have said that before. The high demand, the tech industry is booming. There is a lot of, a growing demand for skilled professionals. Most especially, I think one of the major things that I always tell people, the reason why, the white people are, focusing on Africa to get talent is because, the rate of the cost of, the tech skill there in the US is more higher or twice or thrice more than what they spend on people from Africa. So there is high demand, I think who said it, is it Elijah or Sunema? One of them, talked about the demand, like the world is becoming digital. There is high demand. Even I jokingly tell people and they will laugh. I say, time is coming and the time is now. Even when you want to poo-poo, if you want to poo-poo, you have to press computer. If you want to do anything, it's just digital. So, the demand is high. Many tech roles and are in high demand, and companies are often struggling to find enough qualified candidate to fill the position. So that's one of the major things, the high demand. The high demand. If you check, I was telling someone, trying to explain it to the person. If you go to the bank now, you will discover that you just see few workers. Why? Because technology is taking over some of these jobs from these people. If you go to the US, one of my boss was telling me that in London, if you go to any of the bank, you just see one person sitting in the bank. They don't have people like no all those teller person, teller. No, 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 no. In the US, it's just one person, and that person is just there to guide you. Maybe if you have any, maybe like inquiry or something, you want to ask something, the person will attend. Everything is just digital. So the demand is too high. The demand of skill, the demand for, so many things. Then good pay, another thing is, pay. Tech industry, I can tell you because myself too, I've tested the little, the juicy things in tech. As a software developer, someone in the ministry, like a civil servant, it will take him like 1 month, to get a salary of maybe 200, 300. But as a software engineer, you know, you're is maybe like 2 or 3 days or 1 week pay, is equivalent to that money that will take someone 1 year or thereabout to handle that. I've handled contract of maybe like 1 month, you'll be paid like 1 million or more than, for you to do that. So there's actually a good amount of money um, in the tech world. The tech job often pay well, with many roles offering salaries well above the average for other industry. This is especially true for more specialized roles such as software engineering and data science. Huge amount of money. Not just all these ones, but these ones, software engineering and data science, have the highest or collect the highest salary in the tech industry. Then another reason why, you could consider career in tech is the opportunity for growth. The tech industry is consistently evolving, which means there are always new opportunity to learn and grow. Like, I was doing a research recently. Before now, there is nothing like DevOps. DevOps engineers, they are just few. But as things are, as the world is evolving, most of the big company are now, migrating from normal conventional, hosting, moving to the cloud, and people like DevOps now, and then cloud engineers now, an associate, they are getting more, opportunity, and people are now moving from software engineering, migrating to DevOps, migrating to, other distance. So opportunity for growth. And then there is actually flexibility. That flexibility is one of the major things for me. That's one of the major things that pushed me to actually start my career in the tech world, because of the flexibility. Many tech jobs offer flexible work arrangements, such as the ability to work from home or to set your home on hours. This can be especially appealing if you value work-life balance, or if you have other commitment that require a flexible schedule. So, like example for myself now personally, I told you that I've worked, like last year, I worked with like two companies outside the country, and I was still running my own company, and I was still receiving pay from these two companies. That's the flexibility of it. At the end of the month, you're still doing your own business, and you're getting, money from other companies. So it's flexible. And sometimes there's even like work from home and work remotely. We have some platform that allows maybe remote works like Upwork, Fiverr, and all those platforms. Then another reason is creativity and innovation. The tech industry is known for its focus on creativity and innovation. If you're someone who enjoys coming up with new ideas and pushing boundaries, then a career in tech may be a great fit for you. So this one too is another reason. That's why I put them last. Those are some of the reasons that actually pushed me to venture into the tech world. When I was introducing myself, I told you that I was able to, start two companies. And, that's the power of innovation and creativity. And currently I have like two businesses that I'm running, two ideas that, we are still pushing to see how we'll get sponsors and all those things. So it's all about, it's tech gives me flexibility to create and innovate. There's actually like an idea now that we actually got 3 years sponsorship for about 200 million for one of the idea that we came up with like 2 years ago. That's the power of creativity. Not just the money now, the access, not just access, the resources and everything available for you to just build from there. So that's one major part of tech that I actually like, and that's one of the reasons that I actually venture into the tech world. So to take us further, majorly, I just want to start by, okay, so I want to touch the aspect, the topic given to me, like the roadmap to a successful career in the tech world. So how do you venture into tech? What are the roadmap? How can you actually get into tech? How can you be maybe that software engineer that you want to be? How can you be that data scientist that you want to be? How can you be that graphic designer that you want to be? How can you be that project manager? Because in the tech world, sometimes when people hear about tech, they think that it's just about the technical skills. I say let me explain this one. It's not just about the technical skill. We have two different type of skill when it comes to tech industry. We have the technical skills, and we have probably something that we can call it like the soft skill or non-technical skill. Like the core, like the technical skills are the programming, data science, and all those things. Then non-technical skills, we have skills like software, technical writer, technical writing. We have content creation. We have social media management. We have some non-technical skills, project management, product management. All those ones are non-technical skills. And when you venture into those things, you are still a tech bro and the tech sis that you want to be. So how do you get into those fields, or how can you be successful in the tech industry. Number one is, I just put some points here. Number one is you identify your interests and skills. You identify your interests and your skills. I told you that I'll be sharing my stories and then the journey and all those things. When I finish from the university, or before I finish university, I made up my mind that me, I just want to venture into entrepreneurship. Like, I just want to be an entrepreneur. I don't like all this working. I just want to innovate. I want to just develop things. I want to build things. I want to start up businesses and all those things. That was my own interest. So I was able to identify that this is what I want to do. Like me, I'm not like a working class person. I don't want to like work for someone. I just want to, so I was able to discover my interests. So that's the first thing, one of the major things you need to put in mind when you want to venture into the tech industry, or if you want to be a successful, tech bro. The first thing is you identify your interests and your skill. What interests you, what excites you. The first step is building a successful career is identify your interests and skill. This will help you figure out what kind of job you want to pursue and what skill you need to develop to be successful in the field. So you figure out what kind of job you want to pursue, what skills you need, and all those things. So that's the first thing. Identify your interests and you identify your skill. Then number two is, like, now if you want to anything, not be technical or non-technical skill when it comes to the tech world, after understanding your interest and skill, the next thing is for you to learn the basic. You learn the basics of that interest. Once you identify your interest and skill, the next step is to learn the basic of the field you want to work in. This may involve taking courses or attending workshops to learn about the core concepts and technology used in your field. So myself, I say me, I love logic. I always like something that has to do with logic, and I always I started with design. That was the part I took when I started my journey in the tech industry. I started with design. Why did I start with design? Like, I discovered that people that knows me, I know how to dress, like combine colors and all those things. People, you look good, you know how to dress, this. So from there now I say, oh, that's nice. So I now started, like, let me start with graphics. I say, let me just combine this, do this. I started designing, few things, like banner, flyers, doing all those design. From there, I say, wow, this is really good. I could remember 2013, 2014. I actually got a gig in design. I did a just small banner for someone, and the person paid me. I was, wow. I said, this is nice. I was able to identify, okay, this is the part I want to take, and then I started learning the basic. And from there, I started, exploring more the design world. Started with CorelDRAW, moved to, no, not even CorelDRAW. I started with Canva. It was Canva. Then it was not even too popular. I was doing Canva. I was doing CorelDRAW. I was doing Photoshop. Before I moved to Illustrator. Before I ventured into product design. I started using Figma, Adobe XD, and all those things, building designs for people. So that's just this thing. And I could remember learning the basic. When after my university, I started buying data. The little money I get, I will buy data to just go to YouTube. That's just to get the basic. Go to YouTube I could remember 2000, as at 2018, I have the record. I spent about 115,000 on data for throughout the year. I was learning, learning the basic of those concepts. So that's one of them. When you identify, then the next thing you learn the basic, start learning the basic of all those fields. Okay, example now, you want to be you want to venture into, let's say, data science. You discover that you know a little of statistic, or your strength or your interest in statistic, or your interest in is in the analysis and all those things. Okay, you can go for data science. Okay, how do you start now? You start by learning Excel. You start by learning Excel, the basic of Excel. Before then, you now venture into, the main or the core softwares like SQL. You move to Power BI. You move to Python. You do R. You do all those language, programming language that are attached to data science. You move to all those things. So you learn the basic of that skill. Then after learning the basic, what next? The next thing is you now build a portfolio. That's one of the major things that people, especially people that are just coming up recently, I used to say it, we have like Indomie generation. People, they want to just get there sharp, 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 sharp. Most times, anybody that comes to me, I want to learn this. Okay, what I will tell the person, as the person start learning, maybe, okay, I want to learn, let's say, web development. I will say, okay, that's great. That's why do you want to learn it? You tell me that this. Okay, when I see that it's actually nice, then but the way I used to even guide people when they come, like, okay, I want to learn, I want to venture into tech. One of the major things I would tell them, okay, have you done the basic training for, computer basic training? The person will say no. I will say, okay, you need to register that. So I will tell him that when you register that, as we are training you, we'll be able to know your strength. We'll be able to know if you're a design person or you're a logical person or you're this. So when the person starts from Microsoft, okay, the introduction to computer, you venture into Microsoft Word. When you now move to like PowerPoint, that's when we start testing your design skill. Even from the Microsoft Word, we start testing your design skill. Then you now move to Excel, move to Access and all those. That's when we now start knowing your strength. From there, we say, okay, we are according to our own observation, we are advising you to, learn design, or you should go for programming and all those things. So when that is done, then the next thing is I will now tell the person, as you are learning this thing now, assuming the person is learning graphic design, okay, Oga, what you need to do, please, can you start building things, start building projects? Okay, just like design something, design flyers, put it on social media, or maybe create a path for yourself that, oh, I've started learning so I will be for so maybe like for the next 21 days, I'll be posting some of my this thing here. So you start posting. Portfolio is not just about that resume and all those things you're building. That's where people mistake. They used to mistake portfolio with maybe like that paper. This thing. Portfolio is not just, is actually some of the work you have done, like projects that you have done. That's the main portfolio. It's not just really building a website, a portfolio, or maybe building a resume and all. No. As you learn, it's important to start building a portfolio or a project that showcase your skill and ability. So that's what I mean by portfolio. This can include creating a website, developing a mobile app, or contributing to an open source project. As a data scientist, maybe like, getting a demo of data, like it's rough data, start working on them, analyze them. If you are into UI UX design, just get user story of a product, start, building the UI for that product. Or maybe as a DevOps person, or maybe like a project manager, start, learning about some of the softwares used in, project management. If you are a social media person, start learning about some of the social media platform or management platform, like Hootsuite, Letter, all those platforms, start learning about them. So that's the building of the portfolio that I'm talking about. Now, I want to I want to like put more emphasis here. What I mean is, after identifying, then learning the basic. As you are learning the basic now, I'm trying to say that you should start building some things like projects. I used to tell some of my students as they are learning, some of them, if you are learning with me, you will suffer, in the sense that I will give you like 10 to 15 projects. If you are learning UI UX design, we'll give you like 10 to 20 projects that you must build as, as per portfolio. So that's how we do that. So that's what you need to do as you're learning, or as you're pushing, or you're moving to the tech distance. So the next point is, um after the portfolio, now the next thing is network. You build a network, you connect with other people. you know Before I talk about this network, I told you that I'll be practical. When I started doing my graphic, I've done a lot of things, a lot. I will go online, take some designs, like any this thing online. I will start, you know, designing. I will replicate those things. A lot of them, I'll just be replicating to the point that I have a lot of design. At a point when someone, okay, I heard that you know how to design. Can you show me some of the things you have done? I will now go and send all those things I've done. I will send it to the person. So that's the importance of building portfolio, small projects, and all those things. If when I started into web development too, I was able to build like close to 20 to 30 landing pages. You know, build them, put them online. At that time, I didn't even know about GitHub. Like, you can put your this thing on GitHub, like a static this thing. That time there was nothing like Vercel. There was nothing like Netlify. There was nothing like all those free platform that you can deploy your site, for free. Those things were not there. So what I do, I will just create it on my local machine, and then just keep them there. When someone asks me that he want to see this thing, then I will now do a video, or I will screenshot and send him some of these things. So that's the power of portfolio. Few months ago, I were as a company, we were planning for internship. So I decided to post this thing on LinkedIn to get people that want to, do their internship with us. I got about close to 100 plus, people that are interested in just front end development, like about 100 plus. So when I was going through their resume and all those things, most of them, they have a beautiful write up that I'm a front end developer. I work with this. But if you check, none of them have portfolio. They don't have any reasonable thing to see that this person knows what he's doing. They have not built anything per se. Probably maybe they have gone through maybe a school, maybe like a boot camp or something, or maybe they have watched some, all those I say internship, all those online training, free online training platform, and that's maybe some of them have not even finished those things, and they say that they are front end developers. So, and they don't have any portfolio. So I was so amazed. I was so surprised and shocked after like viewing 100 plus people. At the end, I just got about 20 portfolio. I say, let me just put more emphasis on that. Then the next thing is network, and then connect with others. Talking about um, network is a key component of building a successful tech career. Attend conferences, meetups, and events, just like this one that we are doing now, is actually very important. You get to connect with other people in the tech world. Now I'm getting to know about Mr. Michael. I'm getting to know about, Miss Mariam, and other people on this platform. That's the power of, if you want to be successful, the place of network and then connection, can never we can never overemphasize that. So networking in your community. I belong to a lot of community. I've, during the 2020, during the period of COVID-19 and all those things, I was able to contribute to so many like open source platform. I was able to contribute for, like, there's a platform built for SDGs organized by Facebook and Andela. I was able to contribute, a lot of platforms, just to connect with other people. I have done a couple of years ago. I've even done what do you call it? That Google Developers Scholarship. I've done the mobile and the web, and years ago, like about 2, 3 years, 3, 4 years ago. So that's the power of connection. You get to meet people, and then maybe when you're stuck somewhere, they can advise you, and from there you can make progress. That's the power of this thing. Then the next part is search out for mentorship and guidance. Having a mentor or a coach can incredibly be helpful in navigating the tech industry and advancing your career. Seek out individuals who have experience in your field and who can provide guidance and advice. This one is very, very important. At a point, I was so stuck in the field. One of the major things that helped me was reaching out to people that are in the field that have gone ahead of me, like mentors now, writing to them. I've sent out about maybe 10 or 5 applications to some people that have gone ahead, that, please, I want you to mentor me, this. I think about 2 or 3 persons agreed to mentor, but the others, they will say that they are busy, this and that, but I should just follow their social media handle and, download their videos and all those things. So, for you to have a successful career in the tech world or in the tech industry, another point, number 5 point, is you need to seek out mentorship and guidance. Very, very important. Then the next thing is talking about stay up to date on the latest technology. This one is very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very stay up to date on the latest technologies. The tech industry, I always tell people, the tech industry is dynamic, completely dynamic. Last year, I and my team were able to build a web app, one web app using some of the popular stack, MERN stack, to be specific. We're able to build something very nice. We thought that, we have done something great. When we started studying other things like TypeScript, other things like, so many new technology and new concept of doing things, we now discover that we have not even done anything. We have to go back, to update the software with the latest technology. So the technology, the tech world is actually dynamic. It's dynamic. If you know React, let me give example with React now. If you are a React developer, by now you should know that there are so many things that you need to know when it comes to React. Things like Nest.js, you need to know, you need to know something about TypeScript, know a lot of things about, Redux, context API. We need to know about, all those, your state management, a lot of innovation coming up, a lot of things I was watching a documentary for Nest.js. You know, those guys, they are the owner of Vercel. Those guys, came up with something so amazing. They say, the React is slow, this, we can still make it faster. With that, before you know, they came up with Nest.js. Before you know now, because of complexity, to make your software complex, TypeScript now is gaining wave. So that's how the tech industry. So you have to stay up to date on the latest technology. Then the next step is, continuously develop your skill. Don't say that, me, I've I've mastered this, I've done this. No, 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 no. Every day we consume material. Like myself, I go on Medium every day, reading one or two articles, go on other platform, consume one or two this thing, go on LinkedIn, to see what people are doing, to get some concept. So finally, to build a successful career in tech or a tech career, is important to continuously develop your skill and knowledge. This may involve taking advanced courses or pursuing additional certificate to expand your skill set and become more valuable to your employer. So I want to talk about, advanced courses. Sometimes I always tell people, even though myself I'm a self-taught software engineer, but at a point, I bought some courses from other people. So you can never overemphasize the place of, getting advanced courses. Like 2020, I took advantage of LinkedIn. LinkedIn people, they gave out, free access to LinkedIn courses for like 1 year. I took advantage of that. I think I was able to, I took about 31 courses. I was just consuming, material, that's one thing people don't really understand. It's not just about, is you have to be, someone will tell you that, I want to be a software engineer, and that person, you find it very difficult for him to even open his system for like 1 or 2 hours, and you want to be a software engineer. That's not this thing. So if you want to be successful, that's why the emphasis here is successful, not talking about just a roadmap to a career in tech. No, a successful career, there is continuous learning, continuous development of your skill. And I'm an advocate of mastery. I always tell people I believe in mastery. That's that word, mastery. I always want to learn more. Not that I don't want to be a local champion. Like, you just know this one. Yeah, you say, I'm a. We have seen some things when some people meet you, they will say, me. I say, what do you do? I'm a software engineer. Software engineer. And if you check, the person has not even done, maybe has not built 1 or 2 full stack this thing. So is a continuous development, continuous develop. You develop your skill, you develop yourself. That's how the whole thing is. So another thing again, to add to that, you choose a specialization. You choose a specialized area that you want to master. Like now, we talk about all those, technology is broad. This one's supposed to come, when you were choosing your interest and skill. That's this choose specialization. After probably learning the basic, now we are now moving to the advanced roadmap now, to becoming to have a successful career in tech. After learning the basic, after building your portfolio, after getting a mentor and all those things, what next? You choose a specialization. Like, I was confused at a point. Should I just continue with design, or should I move to, should I focus on software, this thing? I now discover, no, let me just go for the software part. So I now choose that, okay, me, I just want to gain mastery in software development. I don't want to touch graphics. I don't want to touch data science. I just want to specialize in this. And the software engineering, I want to be a full stack engineer, web apps for now. Even though I know how to build the mobile app, but I'm focusing more on the web app for now. So some popular specialization include software development, cybersecurity, data analysis, and artificial intelligence. Considering your interest and your skill to help determine, consider your interest and skill to help determine which area you want to focus on. So you see, this one is an advance. You know your interest, you consider your skill. Now, I say I want to go for software development or software engineering. Then another thing again is you get hands-on experience. In addition to building a portfolio of projects, it's important to gain practical hands-on experience in your field. Look for internship, core programs or part-time jobs to gain real-world experience and apply what you have learned in a professional setting. So now I have done internship. When I started my career in the design and then software, I did internship. I volunteer. That's this part. After building all those basic and all, then the next thing is you need to actually look out for internship. Go for part-time jobs, where you will learn the real life, application of those things you've been learning. Then another thing is you develop a soft skill. Why technical skills are important, soft skills like communication, teamwork, and leadership are also essential for success in the tech industry. Look for opportunities to develop these skills, such as volunteering for leadership roles, in student organization or participating in group projects. So develop a soft skill is very, very important too. Then the next part is seek out feedback. Getting feedback on your work and performance is important for growth and development. Seek out feedback from mentors, colleagues, or managers, and be open to constructive criticism. People can, I love feedback. When I work for a client, after building this thing, I'll ask the person, did you actually love what I've done? This. So feedback, seek out for feedbacks. Then take calculated risks. Don't be afraid to take calculated risks in your career. This could involve taking on a challenging project, pursuing a new specialization, or starting your own business. Taking calculated risks can help you grow and develop as a professional and can lead to opportunities and career advancement. So now, we talk about being specialized, looking out for where you specialize. We talked about volunteering. When you volunteer and you now know that, I don't want to really work. I want to build my own. That's when you now you advance from this thing. I don't know if we are getting it. If I'm actually this thing, I want to get feedback from you now before we move to the next this thing. We'll briefly talk about common barriers, some of the hindrances, some of the things that will make you not to have it on the tech industry. So I don't know if everyone is with us. If you are with us, please, I just want you to drop an emoji so that I will know that just your favorite emoji. Let me know if we are actually together. Yes, so that's nice. Let's drop so that we'll know we are together. Okay, that's great. Opeyemi, thank you. Alasan, thank you for this thing. Okay. Vivian, okay. Yes. Grace, thank you. Okay. Michael, Taiwo. Okay, thank you guys. That's great. Okay, that's great. Musa, thank you. Elijah, Victory, thank you. Okay, so that's great. So it's like we are together. So the next thing I want to, okay, Emmanuel, that's great. Um, so the next point is, we talked about um, how to how to be successful in the tech or your career as a tech person. Sometimes there are some limitations, there are some barriers that will hinder you from, when I started that time, the child, I had issues of laptop, no laptop. I had issues of network. Sometimes those barriers or those challenges or impediment will make you feel somehow. I know of people that have started. I know someone for the past 4 years now. He say he want to do tech. Till today now, he has not started. Oh, he has started and he will start and stop, start and stop, start and stop. So it's not easy. Actually, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not something that will just be smooth. It's not easy. So I want to just point out few common barriers or some of the limitations. Number one, I put out is limited access to resources. But I don't think this one is even a strong point because this era now, we have a lot of material, we have a lot of resources out there. Currently now we have ALX, ALX is going on, people are registering, we have Waterview, so many platforms, even this company, what do you call it now? People like Google too, they are giving free courses, so many platforms. Even the Bincom too. I know they have their own free this thing that they are giving people aside the other one there. So a lot of resources out there. YouTube. I told you, I gave you an instance that 2018, 2019, I spent a lot of money on YouTube buying data, buying data, buying data. But now I have unlimited access to internet and all those. So is limited access to resources is one of the major for other people. Access to resources such as technology, mentorship, or job opportunity can be a barrier for individuals who live in under-resourced community or lack social network in the industry. So we have LinkedIn, we have Indeed, all those platforms. We have free code mentorship or mentor. You can go there. We have a lot of communities now. So then the other barrier is we have burnout and stress. I can tell you truly this one, if not that, some of us, we are just rugged. By now, we would have even, we will not be where we are. This burnout, tech jobs can be demanding and high pressure, which can lead to burnout and stress. Long hours, tight deadlines, and fast-paced work environment can take a toll on individual mental health and well-being. So, sometimes burnout is one of the reasons, but there is a way of balance. Myself, I made up my mind to balance the whole stuff. Even though I'm not a social person, some people will say you are, but I know how I used to cool down. I know how to calm myself, but I'm not really a social person. I'm not even a game person. I'm not even a movie person. So how do I calm myself? Sometimes I just take myself out to just go somewhere and just sit down, just relax, and so sometimes I will just I will not even take my system. I will just go somewhere where my system is not with me or my phone is not with me, just to take time to rest. So those are some of the, but burnout is one of the major things. Some people, when they start, they overwork themselves before you know. So this thing, I know we have ahead. Someone was saying, Allison, yes, all those ID lists for mentorship. Yeah, thank you. So all those platform for this thing. So then another one is discrimination. This one is not really, now it's changing actually. Unfortunately, discrimination can still be a problem in the tech industry, particularly for women, people of color, and individuals from marginalized community. Discrimination can manifest in various forms, such as bias in hiring or promotion decision, microaggression or exclusion from professional network, and all what have you. So I have 5 minutes remaining. Thank you. Then we have what we call disinterest. Some people may simply like interest in tech career or find that they are better suited for other field. It is important to find a career that aligns with your passion and interest rather than pursuing a path that doesn't uh, feel uh, feel fulfilling. So disinterest. Then we have lack of education or training. This one, I didn't put it first because it doesn't really mean anything, even if you don't have a background in computer science. I know I have friends now. One is a medical doctor, he's into tech. I have another person who is a lawyer by profession. He has even dumped everything, he's into tech. So, that one is not really a yardstick, but it's about you and you. So thank you so much. I think we'll stop from here because of time. I don't really like eating into time, but just a summary is not just a day journey. When you want to be successful, you must go through all what I've mentioned. And one of the major thing is you have to like understand your interest and your skill. That's one of the major things. What are you passionate about? What do you like? What do you feel excited doing, and all those things? So those are the major things. And you must be disciplined. Discipline too is one of the ingredients. Discipline, you must be consistent. For people like us now, for 6 years we have been in the field consistently. When I see some young people, they just, when they start 1, 2, 3 days, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months, they are tired. So consistency, you keep doing it over and over and over. When I started, I was not making any money, but at the point, we started making thousands before we now enter, now making ceiling deals in millions and all those things. So that's how the journey is. It's not a day journey. You must be passionate. You must be committed. That's one thing, because it's not just I used to tell my people, it's not it's not eating beans or eating banana. This one is a lifetime journey. So thank you so much for the opportunity, and I will take few questions and before I step out. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Please, if you have any question for our first speaker, can you just on your mic and ask your question if you have any question?
Yeah, I do have a question.
Okay, carry on, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Suleiman. For the younger ones coming up, if they ask this simple question, what is the downside of IT or tech career? How do we explain that to them? Like maybe the other side of it, the demerits, something, or there's nothing like that.
Okay, you're talking about maybe like the disadvantage or maybe the consequence or something of tech.
Something, yeah, that's it.
Okay. So actually, I don't think they should be, I don't think I will say that there is no. So I think I'm so addicted to computer. I'm addicted to computer, and so it's one of the, you will not have time for social life sometimes if you're not balanced. You will just be too focused on what you're doing. Like you just be too focused on building, learning idea and all those things. That one can be actually disadvantage. Then, sometimes it may not, this one that I want to say now, it may not really be a disadvantage, but there is actually this layoff. Big company are laying off some people, but I don't think those people are disadvantaged, because all those people that they are laying off, some of them are still building. Like people that Facebook lay off now, I know some of them that have built their own idea. So there's actually layoff, but I don't think is, I can't say that that one is actually disadvantage in a way, but it can be classed as maybe like disadvantage, because you feel bad after building yourself and then you are employed in the tech, and they are now laying you off of your job and all those things. Then sometimes we have the issue like eye problem. Some people, because of addiction with screen, using all these devices, some of them tend to, develop a problem with their eye and all those things. Then aside that, I have not thought of any um any, probably maybe in the business aspect of it, the business aspect of technology. Sometimes competition, sometimes someone will come and your field and take over. So those are some of the few this thing. I don't know if I've answered you. Thank you.
Okay. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, please can someone help me confirm?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. That's it from our first speaker. Thank you very much, sir. We'll just keep the rest of the questions for after the second speaker makes his presentation. It will not be up to an hour, 35 to 40 minutes. Then we will take further question. Before then, thank you very much, sir. Our first speaker. It's great to always have someone like you in our corner. And I have this video for us. Please, let's just stay tuned and watch. Can you watch my screen? Can you see my screen? Can you see the video?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
I'm the Professional Services Lead at Bincom Dev Center. Bincom Dev Center is a multi-location tech training and development center in Nigeria, and our major objective at Bincom Dev Center is to produce over 1,000 quality tech individuals every year. These people are highly employable, globally attractive, and highly sought after in the tech ecosystem. You ask why, right? Yes, tech talents are in high demand in international communities such as US, the UK, Canada, and France. These countries have made policies and pathways to enable immigrations for tech talent, and guess what? Average salaries of software developers are as high as £35,000 per annum, and this is at the entry level. The opportunity for tech talents are endless, both locally and internationally. This means that the tech ecosystem is one of the highest employers of labor in Nigeria. Yet, many tech companies say that they are not able to find the right tech talent that they need. This is why we started the Bincom Global Tech Program. The program focuses on three major pillars, which are learn skills, gain experience, and gain exposure. The program spans between 1 to 2 years, and during this period, trainees are taken through an in-depth curriculum in their chosen tech tracks, and also in development of soft skills required for them to become globally attractive in the tech ecosystem, both locally and internationally. This program helps trainees to learn tech skills, gain relevant tech experience, and also exposure to the endless possibilities and opportunities available in the tech ecosystem all over the world. Listen to some of the testimonials of our past trainees.
Yes, I had high hopes and expectations while joining the academy, and trust to believe in me. Yes, it was met beyond my expectations. I saw things I have never seen. I did things I thought I would not be able to do in the space of 1, 2, 3 years. I achieved so much.
Actually, my expectation was met. I think at depth center, in my situation, I learned quite a lot of things, web development, content development, I learned mobile development. Coming here, I was thinking I would I enrolled as a front end. A mobile development team, but later on, actually lead man in spread of front end teams, lead man on content development like WordPress, like Joomla, also work with some front end content frameworks like Angular and the likes.
The program has various knowledge tracks that you can choose from. Some of the technical knowledge tracks include the data science track, which is starting with Python. We have the backend track starting with PHP, the front-end mobile app track starting with JavaScript, the DevOps infrastructure track. We have the UI UX graphics track, and also the software testing and quality assurance track. And apart from the technical and software programming knowledge tracks, we also have business knowledge tracks that are equally highly paid across the world. And some of them include the project, service, and product management track starting with Agile. We have the digital marketing, performance marketing track as well. That's interesting, right? Yes. This is a highly intensive program. You need to be able to commit at least 40 hours every week to the program. You can choose from our various shifts. We have the regular shift, which is the 40 hours weekly, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on weekdays and 1 to 2 Saturdays a month. We have the night shift, the 40 hours weekly, which is 5 p.m. to late on weekdays and 1 to 2 Saturdays every month. We also have the majorly weekend shift, which is 40 hours weekly, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays, and then 4 hours every other weekdays. We also have other flexible shifts based on your availability. Yes, all you need to start a laptop device and a passion and love for IT. The weeks gets better. We have various financing options to help you cover the cost of the program. So the program is not free. You do not need to have money to be able to apply and be admitted to this program. The total cost of the Bincom Global Tech program over the 1 to 2 years period is 1.2 million naira. And we have one of the financing options available is the income sharing agreement, which means that the company will sponsor you through the entire program and you only start paying when you start earning income after the program. This means that aside the skills, the experience, and the exposure, the company is also willing to invest their money on you. It doesn't get better than that. What are you waiting for? Hurry up to bincom.net/global tech and register to launch your global tech career. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Now it's time to bring up our
artificial intelligence.
It's time to bring up our speaker, our second speaker, Mr. Michael. He's a DevOps and cloud engineer with Bincom Dev Center, and a seasoned speaker, I dare say. A seasoned speaker, I dare say. So, so we are really glad to have you here. It is always amazing to hear from you. So you have the stage, sir. You have the stage.
All right. So good afternoon. Give me a minute to share my slide.
You can share the slide. The stage is yours, sir.
Okay. So I'd like to confirm if anyone can see my slide.
Yes, sir. We can see your slide.
All right. So thank you very much. I'll be starting with existing protocols to save our time. So my name is Alex Michael. I'm a DevOps engineer. I'm here to speak about a roadmap to a successful tech career. We are in Nigeria. Let's just start from that, our locality. And we know where we are coming from when it comes to technology. We know how much we have gone, or should I say how far we have gone as a people to get to where we are in technology. It starts from somewhere. It starts from an idea. Now, this is more like having to give hope to those who actually think that breaking into tech is rocket science. And this is also to give hope to those who actually think that staying consistent in tech is very difficult. The truth is that everything all boils down to discipline, as our last speaker has said, and he has actually said a whole number of things. In fact, it was more like even peeked into my slide and said a whole lot of things. And that is because tech itself, I would call it, is a life. I would say tech itself is a culture. Tech itself is something that has a language. It has a principle. It has the way you must behave. It has its own ethics. And that is why the way you will be in some other ecosystem is different from the way you will be in a technology ecosystem. When others are sleeping as early as, by 4 o'clock, you are packing up your things and you are, going home, waiting for the next day to start again. In the tech ecosystem, it's very different. You going home is more like, okay, fine, I have done some things at work. And then maybe while you are on your way home, you start thinking, okay, so with what I have done today, how can I improve it for tomorrow? Tech is all about you having to look at that project you've created today. And as our last speaker said, give feedbacks. Why? Because it is something that has to do with continuity. As a techie, you are hardly satisfied. As a techie, it is also difficult for you not to give yourself rest, but it is difficult for you to stay idle. Now, why is all this actually coming together just channeled towards tech? It is because technology itself has to do with improving an existing process, improving an existing activity. We're looking at Facebook today, looking at Twitter, WhatsApp. They all originated from talking, communication. And right now, today, we have a more improved way of communication. And trust you and trust me, nobody is sleeping on this. The fact that we have the WhatsApp and all that today, nobody is sleeping and saying, okay, fine, in the next 100 years, or in fact, in the next 10 years, these technologies will still be relevant. Now, why am I saying all this? Is because the first thing you have to illustrate is the ideology and the idealism behind a particular concept. And the concept we are talking about today is tech. So before I can start talking about a roadmap for you to follow in this particular ideology, you need to first understand, what do I need to be? What do I need to become? What culture do I need to imbibe? How do I need to perceive technology before I can actually walk a path within it? It's in technology that you see that someone today is, let's just say, a junior developer. He meets a senior developer, and in less than no time, if that senior developer is not careful and is not being updated, because we talked about, of course, being updated all the time with current trends and a lot of things that our last speaker said. If that senior developer is not careful and is not diligently, of course, in his quotes, giving that sacrifice to tech and saying, yes, this is what I'm willing to lose to have you, to improve you. The truth is that that junior developer that just coming today will outrun in less than no time in that same ecosystem. And most of the time, this happens because the roadmap is not followed adequately, the way it should. Sometimes we all go into tech and say, okay, fine, I want to be a PHP developer. Yes, you are in it. You start it. And in less than no time, you'll be like, it's too difficult. I think Python is better. I have friends that do Python and they write the language quite easily. In fact, I can reckon more with Python. You go to Python. And then in Python, you are everywhere. Today, you are in machine learning, tomorrow, you are in AI, next tomorrow, you are in web development. And that time, you are just everywhere. You know, this happens. Why? Because most of the time, techies, or should I say, new techies, do not actually follow a path that is going to guide them through their career. And that is one of the things that Bincom as an organization is treating. Because there's a pool of people, there's a pool of great minds that actually are intelligent, but do not know how to utilize their intelligence to become something creative. So before I round up this introduction, I would like to say something that if you want to have a successful tech career, you must be able to hold the bull by the horn. I'm not saying that it is hard. And that is why I started with something. I said, this is more like I'm giving a voice to those who are thinking that it is difficult to break in, or those that are already in are thinking that they can't continue because it is maybe too ambiguous or they cannot move ahead or above where they are. Everything has to do with consistency. So maybe as I go on, I can share one or two things about myself, about my journey, because trust me, each and every one of us that is sitting down here, that is a techie, have our own stories. And trust me, it is not a story for lazy people. There are some parts that are sweet, some parts are lovely, interesting. Of course, Speaker talked about networking in his presentation. When you network, you meet people. I've met great minds. Just even within the Bincom ecosystem alone, I've met a lot of great people. So yes, there are the interesting parts of it, but what are the other parts where you are not delivering on that project on time? What happens at that point? So, as I said earlier, last speaker has said a whole lot that's on my slide, but I'll be paraphrasing one or two things. So, from my slide, you can see in today's rapidly evolving technology landscape, pursuing a successful career in tech can be highly rewarding and challenging experience. However, as with any career path, a clear roadmap and a strategic approach are essential for success. It's just like you want to learn, or you want to drive a car. The first thing you have to do is to go to a driving school. Why are you going to driving school? It's not only because you want to know how to move the steering and engage the brakes and engage, the gears and all that. It is because you want to also know some other parts. And that is why even when you start a driving school, the first thing they will do is that they will open the bonnet of the car and start showing you one or two things in it. Because it's not all about driving. Same thing with a career. Before you engage in a career, you must know the ups and downs of that career. Though, as far as I'm concerned, tech do not really have cons. Tech do not really have disadvantages. It all depends on where you actually look at it from. Stress, yes, everyone can say stress, but what of the reward of stress? Nobody likes talking about that. if you are not stressed at some point over a particular project or task, the thing is that the reward of that task, you won't get it. So what am I trying to say is this? They are the high sides and they are the low sides of tech, and we cannot run away from it. So here is the roadmap to a successful tech career. One is define your goals. You must know your strength. And then with your strengths, know where you are going to. You must know what you are good at before you can say, okay, fine, let me now start embarking on that thing that I'm good in. Now let's take, for example, because this is not actually limited to just the technical part of tech, which is developers and those that build applications, even to those that do project management. When you have watched, maybe fine, I sit down one morning, I'm like, okay, I love tech, but I don't know how to start. Look at what you are good in. Are you good in calculation? If you're not good in calculation, don't bother entering a place like Python. Here you have to now start doing a lot of statistical interpretations and calculations and so on, working with big data. If you know that is not your strength, don't bother, don't even stress yourself. Don't say, my friends, they do Python, and this is the type of model they were able to. Just forget about all those. Everyone have their own course. And, you know, the last speaker mentioned something about, discrimination. And it is very true. There is that discrimination in tech. However, it all depends on where you perceive it from. It is true that they say something. One of the greatest product managers are those that have a technical background. Yes, it is true. But who tells you that you are just coming in fresh without a technical background cannot break the ranks? Who tells you that you who do not even know how to even write a code might not be a better administrator when it comes to execution of projects for that, or should I say towards that particular product? There's this type of intimidation that comes when I'm a PHP developer and I transition into project management or product management, and then maybe those that are just starting, we start to tremble. You won't tremble if you know what you are doing. The most you can even do is to learn from that person. But in terms of trembling, no way. Do you know why? Because the sky is too big for all birds to fly. You know, looking at technology, you know, that is why we used to have this, there's this particular session we have in Bincom, in the Bincom ecosystem. It's the KD. We are talking about the involvement of ChatGPT and talking about, okay, fine, will ChatGPT kick out a lot of developers, cybersecurity experts, and all that? And the truth is this, it will not kick anybody out. Somebody actually created that thing. Somebody created that model. And it will still take somebody to improve it. No matter what it's the kind of data you are giving it, those data that it is generating, didn't it come from somebody? Now, do you know that for every software that you create, you are creating that software. Why? Because you are actually generating data. That is why data analytics can never die, as far as I'm concerned. The more software we have, the more need, or should I say, the more data is being generated. The more data is being generated, the more data analysts you will need. And even if you're even having a kind of AI that is solving this problem, somebody still needs to control that AI. Okay, let me take this very simple. Let's take the ATM, for example. When ATM came, a lot of people are going to, of course, a lot of cashiers will be going home. It is true, a lot of cashiers went home. Why? Because the HCM could actually solve, it could do what even 100 cashiers are doing and even work over the night. But do you know the truth? The truth of the whole matter is that if we should look at that period, when ATM started coming in, what happened? That was when there was a transition into tech. The coming of ATMs in not just Nigeria, in Africa, and even all over the world, actually opened the door, or should I say open more doors in tech. Why? Because somebody has to manage that ATM. Not this time to start cleaning the face of the ATM, but somebody has to give it information. Somebody has to feed it with programs. So tell me, overall, was job reduced? No. So just like in this scenario, and look at it in the other point of view, when I was talking about a project manager who has no technical background, like being a software developer and all that, and then a software developer transitions into product management or project management, and then start getting scared because he cannot use the terms as good as it does. To build is different from administration. And which is one of the things that, tech has actually brought to our table, that you cannot be irrelevant. I studied animal science, I studied health science, I studied geography. Bring your idea in geography to tech, you will bring a solution. Or should I say, you will develop a solution. And that is why, even in some universities, you hear something like, is it biomedical something, and then you have to start learning machines. Is it biometrics? I can't remember the name, but it has to do with those who actually operate the machines that they use in the lab. So yes, it's still in the health sector, but this is more like the technology part. So you don't need to start, giving drugs and opening a human or an animal before you say you are in the health sector. We have heard of nurses, we've heard of even doctors, we've heard of animal scientists. For one, I came from the background of nutrition, food science, and engineering. And I'm still looking at how I'm going to solve a problem in agriculture. So as I said earlier, the bed is the sky is just too large. It can contain all the beds, not just all the beds, but different types of beds. And if they are going to be blue, pink, and purple beds, it will still accommodate them. So the best thing is know know your strengths. Don't follow anybody. Don't walk in the footsteps of anybody. Yes, you can make a mentor out of people. You can make a model out of people. You can make an icon out of people. In fact, your own friend can even be a model to you or a mentor to you. There's no problem. He can teach you everything he wants to teach you. There's no problem. But even in those things you have to learn, still learn your strengths. Still know your strengths. Improve on that strength. Because that is what you use to run. If you work in another person's foundation, trust me, you will build another person's house. So it is not a matter of you just being in the tech ecosystem. The thing is, what is your relevance in it? And what will your relevance be in it? We start from what can you do? What is that thing that you can bring to the table that others are not thinking about? What is that thing that you can actually do that others cannot do? What is that strength that you have that you know that you can also pass on to others, and then it has a ripple effect of even becoming something that others will always point to you and say, I learned this from this person. It is because of this person, that was why this particular application was being created. It was because of this particular person, that was why this particular model was created. So know your strength, and from your strength, you will define your goals. I am good in administration. Then it's not bad for me to go into project management. It's not bad for me to go into product management. I'm good in, marketing. I'm good in talking to people. I'm good in creating content. It's not a bad idea if I go into, it's not a bad idea if I go into digital marketing. In fact, my work into tech started from digital marketing. And in fact, it did not just start from digital marketing, it started from content creation. Before someone spotted it and it was like, wow, you write good, like you write real good. Can you help us in writing content for our blog? That was how I started. Before I was like, okay, fine. I think I have a new love, and I started graduating from there, going more into the technical side of tech. So know where you are going to. Don't just follow the crowd, because tech on its own has too many branches, and many more branches are coming. Look at this side, this thing that ChatGPT has brought now. I'm telling you, it's going to also bring its own branches, because AI has been, AI has been as far as, let me just say 10 years or so. All the YouTube that we've been using, true is that it is AI that actually helps us to get the best videos for us. Even when we are not even searching for a particular video, just see that it just brings it to your doorstep. AIs are actually the ones that helps generating all this. However, there are more branches to be tapped. There are more branches to be tapped. So that is how it all works. So the second is acquire technical skills. Now, acquisition of technical skills, I will explain this in two facets, because this meeting does not just contain those in Python and PHP. It also contains people that are into digital marketing. It also contains people that also are into product and project management. So I'll be explaining this in two sides. Now, let me start with that of the project, the business side of tech, because our last speaker has actually said a whole lot about technicals. Now, you as a project manager, you cannot wait, right, until when you get the job before you start learning the skills that enables you to succeed in that job. That takes me back to what our last speaker said about portfolio. He mentioned something which is very true. A lot of people just say, I am this, I am that. And when you ask, what have you worked on a live, then they go incognito or private mode. As far as I'm concerned, it is better to say I'm still learning, as far as I'm concerned, than to say I have 5 years of experience. And then when it's time, okay, what skills have you built over time? What have you worked on over time? Then you have nothing to show. Then, as far as I'm concerned, you've not done anything yet. Because what differentiates, let's just take it this way. Remember I mentioned something about a junior coming into the ecosystem, and in less than 2 years, the person just go through the ranks and even surpasses those that. Now, one of those things that might make that person to run that fast in a very little time is because that kind of person, for everything he or she does, one, there might be a documentation backing it up. She makes a mistake or he makes a mistake, there's a documentation that follows it up. There's a GitHub account that everyone can always reference to. There's a GitLab account that everyone can always make reference to, or Bitbucket account that everyone can always make reference to. And these projects, yes, it might just be one. It might just be two. But trust me, a lot of people that calls themselves, in quotes, 5 years, 6 years in the game, have not even worked on that one project. But actually, I just running in circles from boot camp to boot camps, of which it's not that it's bad, it's not bad. But that is where you having to acquire a skill comes in, a technical skill. You must first learn. After learn, put that thing that you have learned into use. You putting it into use, that is where the technical comes in. It does not just become a skill anymore. As a DevOps engineer, I can say, okay, fine. Problem solving skill, yes, I have that. But where the technical skill comes in is, how did I implement my problem solving skill? Then I start talking about projects where I have where I have solved one or two challenges. That is where technical comes in. So as a product manager, as a project manager, what are your technical skills? You have to ask yourself this, not just skills that you've learned from videos, from YouTube, from books, from blogs. No, it does not stop there. Rather, how have you used those things to solve a problem? When you do this, you are valued. Why? Because you are adding to the tech ecosystem. Never look at it that it's too small. Never look at it that, oh, I'm starting, I'm just starting today. Well, I'm just a month old. So all what I just know is how to create, let me just talk in DevOps terms now, is how to create a user account on Linux. And then you are sad about that. There are a million people that do not know how to create that user account. You as a project manager, oh, this person has a certification in Agile or PMP and all that. I don't have anything. Yes, it is true you don't have anything. But a lot of people have these certificates without having a technical skill. And that is why if you look at it on a global level, it is those that have the technical skill that are the most sought, and not those with the certificates. The certificates only earns you the rights, or should I say, it gives you that privilege to be at the door. But the moment when you are called for an interview, your certificates will leave you. The most they can do is, okay, tender your certificate. That is the most. But most of what you will be doing now is that your technical skill, as from that moment when you walk into that organization, or when you, maybe if it's a Zoom meeting or an online interview, at that moment, your technical skill is the one that speaks for you. And that is what is going to take you all through your career. So you can add more certificates and more certificates and more certificates as a project manager, as a product manager, as a digital marketer. But your certificate is not what defines you. It's your technical skills. That is why most of the time, you don't see, just look at it in Africa, for example. I'm just talking about Africa because a lot of us here are Nigerians. Look at it, you go to school, right? In the global market, why is it that our education, they just put it in one side and they start asking you, what can you do? It's because that is just a certificate. It's because that is just, as far as I'm concerned, it's just a paper. So many tech industries do not even ask about what certification have you done, like hitting that nail on the head. No. What they want to see when they just go through your LinkedIn, sometimes they just scroll past that certificate side, they just scroll past and start looking, okay, what are the things you've worked on? That is technical skills. As a product manager, what are those products you worked on? How did you go about it? What are the modus operandi that you are able to develop in order for that project towards that product to be achieved? Now that is technical skills. So you will notice that when you have these technical skills, you are not intimidated as a person. Why am I mentioning intimidation? This is because we cannot run out. We cannot run from it as a as a techie. We can't run from it when we are talking about intimidation. It will always come at one point or the other. It will always come. But the thing is that know your stand, know your values, know your goals, as I said earlier, and then always improve in your technical skills. So for the third one, our last speaker, Mr. Abdul, has talked about networking. I will just speak a little on this. Now, I could remember there was a session I attended, and then someone was asked, do you have a mentor? He said, no, I don't have a mentor. Okay, I just thought that, okay, fine. It was because the person never saw one to mentor him. Because sometimes there are challenges getting mentors. It's either they are too busy or maybe most of the time they are just busy, most of the time. But it was later found out that this person didn't have a mentor because he did not see the need for a mentor. And then the first thing that came to my mind is this: how will somebody like this network well? That's what the first thing that came to my mind. Because when it comes to networking, it is you having to, one, meet people. As you can see the diagram over here, the picture over here. This lady is connected to this person. This one is connected to this person. This one is connected to this person. Is you actually knowing one person, and through that one person, you are knowing about 2-3 people, even if it's just one person. When you meet that third person, the third person will also link you to somebody else. Now, what are you trying to achieve in networking? It is actually having to gain 1 or 2 things from each of these personalities. Networking is not streamlined to, I am DevOps, and the only people in my circle are only DevOps engineer. I will be failing in this particular sector of my roadmap, or should I say in this particular part. I will be failing because there are too many things for you to gain from everyone around you. For instance, I will be taking the Bincom Dev Center, for example, because I'm well conversant with that. We have different teams. We come together at some point during some microservices. We share ideas. Most of these microservices, I would say we network there. Why? Because I am meeting somebody from Python. And then I ask, oh, Mr. Python, how are you? There's actually this particular problem I was having with this particular thing, and I feel that you can automate it. What do you think I can do, or what can you do for me? Or, oh, I heard about this particular news. Have you heard about it? Yes, I have. Okay, can we work together to actualize this particular dream or goal? Or somebody comes and is sharing knowledge from his own, should I say, he's sharing his own wealth of knowledge, let's just say in business. And who told you that someday I cannot be a CEO of my own organization? So networking is not just narrowed to I'm a digital marketer and then I have so many digital marketers around me. The truth is that if you do that, you are only building your competency in one thing alone, which is digital marketing, of which in tech you must be versatile. You must know a little about everything. You must know a little about the business side. You must know a little about the technical side. You must even have a little knowledge about management itself. Now, as a techie, in the technical side of tech, now look at someone who does not have time management as one of his strengths, or as something that he should work on. Such person will always deliver projects late, and the feedbacks will never be good. Look at somebody in the tech side of tech also, maybe he lacks how to talk, how to communicate, there will surely be a problem. Same thing at the other side. I'm a digital marketer or a project manager, but I don't just like seeing codes. And because I don't like seeing codes, I don't want to have anything to do with developers. Then how will you bring that project to completion? How will you understand the terms? Because there is no excuse that when it comes to project and product management, that because I'm not in the technical side of technology, so I don't understand the terms. It must not be hard. Yes, at some point you will not understand the terms, but as you grow in it, you will understand it. In fact, at some point, yes, you might not be able to write the codes, but nobody will be able to mislead you when it comes to how these softwares actually work. So networking is very important. No one is an island. You are not an island. You don't know everything. No matter how, even if you even inculcate pride into it, you will find out that at some point, you will feel like you know nothing. Do you know why? Because one way or the other, even if you don't associate with anybody, you will surely associate with Twitter, with Facebook, with LinkedIn, and you will see 1 million people that know better than what you do. And then, of course, what do? You just feel empty at that period, telling yourself that, no, I have to work better. But how do you know better when you don't associate? So you must learn from people. You must be social. You must be able to get to mentors, let them teach you the way. Let them show you the path. Let them show you a quicker way to reach your goal. And through your mentors, aside from, of course, showing you books, showing you materials and different resources, they also even, show you to other people that will also help you in your career growth. So it's not a one-man thing. Trust me, the Elon Musk we have today and all the Steve Jobs and all that, they don't work in isolation. So that is for networking, then gain experience. So building experience is an essential part of any successful tech career. Internships, volunteer work, or freelancing can help and gain valuable experience in the field, build your portfolio, and showcase your skills to potential employers. How will you gain experience without actually learning? It's always very funny when in our generation, well, we are the youths. We are always pursuing the money, and we are not after the experience itself. When you want to get a job, the first thing you ask is how much is the pay? Instead of asking how much knowledge you get from it. Talking about this, you need to remember something. One of my interviews, it was a Microsoft associate, like the subsidiary of Microsoft. They're working with Microsoft. It's more of the partner, not subsidiary. The partner with Microsoft. I went to their company, then I knew nothing. When I say nothing, I mean I knew nothing in tech at all. I went for their exams. That's the interview. I did the exam. I passed the first stage. I passed the second stage. I was like, is it that I'm that good? So everyone was just, we are just communicating with each other and all that. I started asking, what did you study? This person will say, I studied robotic processing or automations. This one will say, I studied computer science. This one will say, I studied data. I was like, this is the kind of people that I am with. So it threw me off balance. I was like, this job, I have no, because in fact, the company was into robotic process automation. So I knew I did not even have a chance. Me that has a nutrition background and a little of marketing. So I knew that this was work. But at the end of the day, when I got to the CEO, then after we have asked all the questions, I tell her the little thing I had. And it's not that the company is a small company that you say, okay, fine. it is because of they don't have the money to pay you. That is why. No, this ones, they have the money to pay. And then after the whole interview, my mind has already gone away that I'm going to have this job. Then I asked him, what now, sir, you've asked me all this. What is in it for me? Because the reason why I'm here, sir, is because I want to learn. Even if it is for free, I don't mind. But let me just be here to learn. That is just what I came here for, sir. Sincerely, yes, I saw the advert and all that. So I told him, and he saw the willingness for me to learn that place. And after a while, I was called up for the job. Now, the question is, where are those people that studied computer science, that studied robotic process automation, that studied a whole lot of big computer courses? Is it that they never saw all of them? Or is it that they never saw that they had skills? No. But it could just be that because of that willingness to gain experience, that was why I was called up. So, as a person, when it comes to a career, the first thing that you have to first treat, that you have to first, you have to first attack, let me just use that word, is your mindset. Is the way you think. Because I don't pamper myself. I don't pamper myself. Maybe some of my team members would have noticed it sometimes. When I speak to them, it's like, are you trying to push me? The truth is that because that is where I push myself. Because there's always room for you to gain experience, to gain exposure, which is one of the core, should I say, is one of the legs of Bincom as an organization. I'm not trying to market Bincom over here, but the truth is that for one, I cannot remove Bincom from my I can't remove Bincom from my story. That is the truth. Because I got a lot of platform, or should I say I got one platform for me to channel into different things. So you can't pamper yourself. You can't start patting yourself. Even when you are doing the wrong thing, you're patting yourself. Force yourself to do that thing. Sometimes some projects will come. Yes, it is beyond your scope. It is beyond your power. But don't say, no, I cannot do it. Because that is where you will gain that experience. Most of the time, the battles we have to fight is actually our bread. That is where we feel from. Look at a hunter, for example. If he does not go into the bush, if he does not, go stay all night, sleep with the wild animals, how will he eat? It's the same thing with the techies too. If you don't undergo these difficult projects, what story do you have to tell? How do you differentiate yourself from others? How do you say that this is where I stand and this is where I'm going? How will you be confident to say, okay, fine, I have reached this particular stage and I know that I can conquer anything that comes around this particular sphere? So I'm not trying to paint tech as a Troy or gladiators. But the thing is that the mindset has to come in that this is not a place to sleep. This is not a place to relax. This is not a place to, fun fair. No. Rather, it's a place of achievement. It's a place of targets. It's a place of goals. And at the end of the day, profitability actually what crowns it all. That is only if we go through the rigors. So gain experience, no matter how it comes. Build that portfolio. Even if you are working on a particular project, it is too difficult for you, both as a maybe business side or as a technical side. Maybe at the business side, they tell you how this particular project, and the project is, that this is more than your capacity. Don't refuse it and start saying no. Rather, look for people that can do it, leverage on their wealth of experience, and then do whatever they tell you to do. Go online, search. I could remember I working on a project, and then after researching at first, I gave it to my supervisor. He gave it to you told me you must. Anytime I tell you to search, make sure that you do searching, really. Don't just go online and then just, go on the surface and come back and tell me that you've done it and you did not find anything. The truth is that it seems difficult, but the thing is that if you don't take such criticism with an open mind, the truth is that you are not ready for what is coming. Because even in the business of technology, there's a whole lot of challenges and you must face it. You can't run away from it. Please, if it is time, just let me know, please. You can't run away from it. It is life. Life is not a place, it's not a bed of roses. So
It is
is
time,
technology. It's time already. All right. So is technology. So I'm running up very soon. Thank you. So another thing is build your portfolio. I will not speak so much on it because the last speaker has also dealt with a whole lot of all this. Stay up to date. He also dealt a lot with it too. Don't say because let me look for one outdated technology. I can only speak from my own line, which is using hub. There's something we call hub. Then that's what you use for video games. You have a television here, you have a television here, maybe you have another room, then you use a wire to connect it. Now everything is going on cloud. In fact, right now you can even play games on Facebook. So I, as a network engineer, I cannot start depending only on cables. That is why you have a pool of network engineers actually transitioning into cloud engineering, because you know that now things has gone more than just connecting through cables. And the same thing with software too. Yesterday I had a discussion with some developers, and then we were talking about backdating and updating packages. When it came, I think it's on Node.js, and I was asking, why do we even need to have to backdate all this? Why? Because there's a lot of improvement. So when there's an improvement, if you don't know that there's an improvement and you stay in the old technology, you just find out that life is actually going ahead of you. Nobody will patronize you when you're using old technologies for them, because they are called old technologies, of course, because there are some things that they are not updated in. Of course, the new one today will surely be the old of tomorrow. So that is why you must always be abreast of what is happening around your ecosystem. Search for opportunities. Yes, search for as much opportunities. Search on LinkedIn for opportunities. Yes, the truth is this. Sometimes it might be like you don't have much experience in this particular thing. Still do it. There's no harm in trying. Nobody will die because of you tried something. And so most of the time, it won't even cost you anything in terms of financially. So look for new opportunities. Sorry, I have to just run through all this so that we can finish on time, because we're already behind schedule. So what's the summary? Building a successful career requires a strategic approach, dedication, and a lifelong commitment to learning and growth. By defining your goal, building your technical skills, building your network, gaining experience, building a portfolio, staying up to date with industry trends, and being open to new opportunities, you can build a successful and rewarding tech career. So thank you very much for staying tuned. I don't know if there are room for questions, but I'm glad having this event with you guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, our second speaker, Mr. Alex. God bless you, sir. Okay, so please, if you have question, you can sharply unmute your mic and ask your question. If you have any question, you can unmute and ask your question. Okay, I will assume we don't have questions. So I want to say a very big thank you to our participants also, for those that participated. God bless you. Real time. I've seen people that invited outside of Bincom. They are here with us, and I believe you also learned one or two things, and some of them say they would like to come back again. Okay, so we want to do something sharply. Please, you can drop your LinkedIn profile, or yes, so that people can follow you, your Twitter handles. Please, we can do that, please, so that we can follow each other. That is, you've heard that it's good to network, right? I've learned a lot of things. I'll be reaching out to these people personally, something. So please, in the chat box, you can just drop your handles. And just drop your handles and Twitter names, so that people can follow, so that we can follow each other. Okay, read one. Are you still here? As people do that. Okay, Sophia, thank you. Okay, that is it. We've come to the end of this meeting today. Looking forward to see you again. We do this every month. We hold such special events every month, and there will be another one coming up very soon, and it will come through your spaces. So we'll be glad to have you here again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome.